All right, so just going to go through some of the top stories. This one has got me very interested. Up in Oregon, they had a ransomware attack, okay? They've been down for 9 days now. Tillamook County, ransomware, 9 days. Tillamook? Yeah. Down 9 days. Think somebody's keeping their job after that one?
We can only hope not.
And again, ransomware, it happens, okay? I get it. Probably once a week, somebody does what? Clicky, clicky, mousy, mousy, you know, something pops up. You see it come up, you take care of it, okay? And you can't stop them all. I mean, let's be honest, as security professionals, you can't stop them all, but you know what? You gotta be able to detect and react to it. 9 days, there's a whole series of failures here. My next question would be, what about backups? But we probably don't want to know the answer to that. That'll just make us skins crawl. So cost of insider threat rises by 31% compared to last year. I think this is something that a lot of people aren't understanding. There is a huge insider threat in most organizations. If I'm a bad guy, and I've told people this for 20 years, if I'm a bad guy, do I want to have to work and hack into your organization, or do I want to get hired on as your IT administrator? Okay, a lot easier to be hired on as IT, whether it be desktop server, it doesn't matter what position. Once you're on the inside, let's face it, we all get kind of soft and squishy. So the insider threat is actually increasing, I think, across almost all environments. And that's for a number of reasons, okay? One is we have a little bit of an attitude right now of information should be free. So if you've got sensitive information, somebody may say, you know, this information that you consider confidential would be good to post out on the web to show people these things. And it's hard to root those out, but you need to put systems in place to look for unusual things, not only among users, but among admins. And admins monitoring admins is always a fun topic. Matter of fact, we could spend an entire night on that. Cyber attack, U.S. Water Company caused network outage, South Carolina. Cyber attack took down its phone and online payment systems. Good, it's just that, but it could be a lot worse very easily, okay? I'm always worried about a lot of the various electrical, water, those types of systems, because for convenience purposes, what have we done? We've plugged them in where? To the internet. Okay, these types of systems, when I see cyber attacks on them, I always look and see what it is. In this case, online payment, okay, I won't give them a lot of grief, but if it had been any sort of operational stuff, my first question to them, and I would hope that they would be getting asked, is, why was it plugged in where somebody could get to it in the first place? And I've played these games before, and almost always it comes back to convenience. Unsecure Elasticsearch server. That's not new. They've been going after unsecure servers like that for 2 years, 3 years. So to have one sitting out there, that's not a good sign. And to have it be one of the big boys like Microsoft, that makes it even worse. Let's see, we talked about that patch, we talked about that bug. Oh, Maryland, this law did not pass as this article was originally written. Maryland wanted it to become illegal to possess ransomware. And the penalty, yes, the penalty was going to be a misdemeanor, could face 10 years in prison and a fine up to $10,000 for each piece of ransomware. So since I have a collection of malware, I'd probably be going to prison for life. But at the last minute, they did alter it and say, you know, if you're a security professional, you do security research, you're exempt from the law. So that's the good news. They did fix it at the 12th hour. Actually, I can be very honest, I don't know if it actually passed the final votes.
It did.
It did?
It did not.
It did not? Okay. I don't know what good passing it would even do. I mean, half the guys, you're in a different country. Oracle, how many people use Oracle out there? How many people love patching Oracle? Because what did they do to us this last month? They dropped a patch fix on us. How many bugs were fixed? 334. Basically, if you have anything that is Oracle in your environment, it's probably got a security patch that needs to be applied to it. And unfortunately, a lot of these, when you read the details, these aren't little, you know, we got a little tiny patch here. Some of these are big gaping holes that need to be patched. And again, anyone who's got Oracle in your environment, you know how fun that can be to patch it. So if you don't know if you've been patched and you've got Oracle, you need to go definitely check and find out. Two last ones, and I'll turn it back over. We all did patch our Microsoft after the NSA very conveniently did what? They told us there was a flaw in the elliptical curve. Everyone's patched, right? Because if the NSA is telling us, it must be that it was just discovered and they're doing it for our protection, right?
Well, they're done with it.
That would be my guess, that they're done with it and somebody else discovered it and oops, better fix this before it bites us in the butt. So, two more because this one's too good. Amazon Ring workers fired after watching users' videos. I love this one because how many people have cloud services of various flavors? And it doesn't matter whether it's Ring or you're using something on Azure or AWS. Okay, one of the things that we get told as we do security audits against the various services is, well, our people are vetted and we partition off what they can see and they can't get to your data unless these 3 doors are unlocked and people have blessed those accesses. And I point to this and I say, really? I think they had some of the same controls. So tell me again how much I trust your people working on my cloud data. So I get very cautious about cloud and what we're pushing out there because I really don't know who has access to see it since it's physically outside of my control. And again, I think we're going to see more of these types of things, and we go back to the earlier discussion about insider threats. If I wanted to be an insider and I wanted to get into some very interesting stuff, might be interesting to work at a cloud provider, huh? Last one I'll go through here because this one just, this one made me think, please dear God, let's not do this. UK announces AI warship contracts. I'm sorry, the last thing I really want to do is put AI in something like a battleship or a tank. That just sounds like really bad idea to me. So this is one that'll be fun to watch. You know, again, I'm sure it's not what I'm reading into it, but we know how, well, you know, we've got AI for this little tiny piece over there. Why don't we just keep extending it? This one could be really exciting. This is not the first time weapons have been made autonomous. Or I can't even say that this is a weapon system that's being autonomous, but putting AI into weapon systems is not new. It's been done for a number of years. And if you know where to go read things on the internet, you can go read about very interesting articles about where weapon systems have had little oopsies and killed people. Go back as far back as 15, 20 years, you'll find one that was about a howitzer in Africa that they did some automation on that, let's just say they shouldn't have. Okay, and there are others. So this one scares me because if you can build it, who can hack it? Somebody can hack it. So these types of things worry me a lot. What else have people found out there in the news they want to share? Anything? Anything else good, bad, indifferent? Yes, sir.
It's not new news, but it's like super old. I just got out of the military not too long ago, like July last year, and I worked in the Patriot missile system, and we had like tracks misclassify like friendlies as like enemies. So it's a huge thing and like huge safety measure.
Yeah, some of the military stuff, again, if you build it and say this will keep us from keep us from having friendly fire and things like that, somebody will find a way to use and abuse that. So, what else? Anybody else have anything good that popped
Cable
up?
Hunt?
Cable Hunt?
The new vulnerability on all home routers? Yeah.
Yes, I don't remember.
No, modems, I'm sorry.
I don't remember whose cable modems were vulnerable. Do you remember?
It's basically everybody's, all Broadcom, so.
Is it Broadcom chipset?
Yeah, it's the entire Broadcom chipset, so almost, the guys on security now, they were checking their own and like, he had 4 modems and 3 out of the 4 were vulnerable.
Yeah, and those cable modems being vulnerable is a really big problem because it's not an easy update. Most people don't even think of their cable modem when they think about patching and updates.
They knew about the update back in March of 2018 and didn't tell us. They told us a couple months ago.
We had one on Microsoft's Azure platform. Actually, there was a vulnerability occurred in, I believe it was November. They patched it. Very serious vulnerability within the Azure framework. One would expect if you're using Azure as a PaaS or IaaS, Microsoft would either say, hey, we're going to reboot you to bring in this update or things like that. surprise, unless you actually applied it yourself, you really didn't get the benefit of that patch. So again, another reason, clouds, gotta watch them, you know. I don't think we save a lot of money in some cases because we're still doing the same jobs we did before. And again, going back to the cable modems, a lot of people forget about them. They sit in the corner and,
I didn't know that. I knew about my router. I didn't know I could put in an IP address and get into my cable modem.
yeah.
I didn't even know it until they said it on security now, so.
Two IP addresses, one on the inside, one on the outside.
So, good question. The firmware is typically managed by the cable provider in the sense that they need to push the authorization. They basically need to say this is the version you should be patching to. You can't typically go down to the manufacturer, download the code, and apply it immediately. It has to go through your vendor. In the case of, so you would basically go out to their site, grab the firmware update, meaning your provider, your ISP, and get the update and apply it. So, because they typically add additional code to that. Because remember, your cable modems and things like that are kind of a weird access, meaning it's not all yours. They have partial access into that front door to be able to configure the front door and how it talks to them. So that's why they typically have additional code. And again, name me one good ISP, cable modem, doesn't matter, DSL, that really communicates, oh, we've got a critical fix, you need to go patch your device.
None.
So.
Nobody.